Alrighty, and there is someone on top of me. Wheeee! Or at least in front of me. Anyway, welcome back. I took off work early today because I am very eager to try to get this done ASAP. So, we got back from the super past and also did things in Garlemald, and now we're here trying to help the Forum finish building their spaceship. So let's see how this goes. As instructed, I shall take you to see the Aether Burner. Meet me outside the Archaeon. I trust you can make your own way from there. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Oh, that's actually cute! The, Palom and Porum actually interact. That's actually cute. I hadn't expected that, but it's pretty adorable. Anyway, time to find the Archaeon. It's gonna be this way. It's down in Labyrinthos. Down we go. Descend! Heartless Angel. Oh, wait. Alright. I think you're the person I talked to? Gear Albanian plate is certainly a popular hairstyle in this expansion. Yes, I want to go to Labyrinthos. See what awaits me here. I guess I have permission to use the elevator to get to the lowest part, which is the part I haven't mapped yet. I'm guessing. Because that's probably where they're building the spaceship. Alrighty. Archaeon is that one there. Also... Okay, that's all we have here. Let us take my Archaeon. Or Arion, or however it's supposed to be pronounced. Eventually I'll be able to fly here, sooner or later. Actually, I wonder if all the remaining Aether Currents are the ones down there? Probably. There's also some more quests I need to get, so... Just the location of the currents is a little odd to me, but... South. Maybe. So I feel like I didn't discover nearly enough for being the first half of the exploration, but I guess we'll see. Alright, Fortuno. Some would surely object to the Forum allowing foreign elements to have the run of their secret facilities. We should count ourselves lucky. Do they intend to carry everything in the Archaeon to the moon? They said they'd started loading the scientific records and biological samples, but do they really need all of it? It seems so long ago when we first set foot here. Where once we were refused entry, we are now welcomed as guests. Among the many and varied documents sent to the moon, I did chance upon several inventories made in the Archaeon. Mayhap the Forum believes such records would provide insight into the intricacies of clerical duties. Regardless, the Loperids did not consider them worthy of more than a cursory glance. It has been many moons since I last visited Labyrinthos. as vast as the archives were back then, they've only continued to grow in the days since. That we have been granted permission to enter the lower levels is proof of our increased standing. Would that they had been willing to confide in us sooner. I don't understand the appeal of reshaping it to look like the world above. Make your peace with what it is, or go outside if that's what you prefer. Can't argue with that, Estinian. Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum in its wisdom has granted you access to the Archaeon's lift. Step inside and have Offline take you to the Medial Circuit. Anti-tower music. Let me go down, please. Yes. Just a minute, Portiono. I really want to check and make sure I'm not missing any currents on this level. West. Southwest. Airlines. Southwest. Alright, it's probably up here. There it is. I had a feeling. Thought I had missed at least one. West. Southwest. That one's probably down there. Well, 135 yalms doesn't seem like it would be that far. But maybe it's like at the very edge of the wall or something. Yeah, south. So it is definitely that way. Okay. That resolves that issue. So, yeah, that's 5. Okay, now I should have all the ones on this level. And continue to gallop. There's a giant bee! Alright, Fortuno. And the rest aren't here. Okay, so it's just me. I have sent your associates ahead to Logisticon Alpha. That's what it is. On the other side of Merrill Agronomics. Actually, there's something I've been meaning to... No, never mind. It can wait. Let us attend to the matter at hand. Ah, the tomatoes and the corgans and the onions. Teddy on a banana. There's that leaf monster that keeps trying to eat me every time I go by here. Okay, I can actually come inside here now. For all I know, I probably always could have. Wheeee! Just never thought to check. Alright. Thankred. Knowing the forum, even the people working down here are probably kept in the dark about the true purpose of this place. Oh, there you are, having words with Master Fortuno by any chance. On our journey here, I was filled with an inexplicable sense of elation to see vegetables other than carrots being cultivated. Why, it near brought a tear to mine eye. Oriange. We must be close to the Central Circuit, which is where Charlene's greatest secrets are held, if the tomes I perused told the whole story. The fields we passed along the way brought back memories of Ferndale. Unfortunately, we were never blessed with such abundant crops. Aw. The further underground we go, the more surprises we find. I wonder what this place is actually for. We are to wait here while our father arranges us to use the lift. Use the next lift. Here being the Logisticon Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of Labyrinthos are regulated. Water is drawn from underground and dispersed as vapors, stimulating the formation of artificial clouds and rain. Ah, so that's how it rains down here. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for growth and preservation of the biological samples kept here. Hold on, how do you know so much about it? My father brought me here as a child. What? And left me behind? Actually, you're the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with grandfather. The night before, I had been asking father how clouds are made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. Tis all too easy to take for granted the many interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured of the wondrous. To the wondrous. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanism employed by the Loperids in recreating a similar environment, I have come to view such processes in a new light. The subterranean gardens of Labyrinthos, the lunar prison forged to contain the ancient Zodiac, the habitations built for all mankind neath the moon's surface, each unique yet undeniably similar. Tis no mere coincidence. Ever since Heidelin unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Aetherius, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos in preparation for the Great Exodus. But that is not all. It is also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. With their dead civilizations. Though the Loperids have endeavored to make the moon inhabitable, that is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren. Alas, time is not on our side. I have arranged for you all to enter the Central Circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the Great Exodus are carried out, the construction of the Ark among them. Though our plans have been made public, access remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subjected to said restrictions, and will have free reign to come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust. Your trust. Then let us proceed. By decree of the Forum, the signs of the Seventh Dawn are permitted to enter the Central Circuit. Let's go. And it has become evening time here. The farther down we travel, the more expansive the sky above becomes, artificial though it is. Would that the heavens elsewhere could be so idyllic. Please tell me we're almost there. Or is there another underground level we have to reach? The even more Central Circuit, perhaps. This is it, the Central Circuit. We might finally have the chance to commune directly with Heidelin, provided we somehow manage to succeed where Charlian's finest engineers have failed. Still, it won't hurt to have a look. If only we had Sid with us, I'm sure he could probably figure something out. Why don't we have Sid with us? Where is he? The sooner we can get a look at this aether burner of theirs, the sooner we can start working out how to improve it. The temperate environment here is not unlike that of Bestway's burrow, though the diverse vegetation doth produce a far more complex bouquet of aromas. A welcome difference indeed, for I have grown weary of the scent of carrots. I imagine the secrets kept here would be of great benefit to mine own research, but I will refrain from indulging my curiosity for the time being. I have no idea what makes Alphino so confident we can solve this problem of theirs. Relentless optimism, I presume. A not unwelcome trait in a youth, but less so in a gambler. Let us resolve to never let him set foot in the gold saucer. Oh, Estinian. Alright. Well, now that we're down here, northwest. I presume we have free run of the place. Ere long, we will find more side quests, including ones that will get me more aether currents. Wheeee! Southwest. There it is. Northwest. here, we might as well talk to this Chocobo Keep. And attune this Aetherite, assuming we have permission to do so at the moment. Okay. Continuing northwest. North. Ah, there it is. Ugh. Didn't really want to fight, but fine. Sudden deja vu for weird reasons. Now I can attune this thing. West. Logisticon Beta. Southwest. Alright, it's on the other side of that wall. There it is. Don't notice me, Mr. Tree. How many more do I have? 2 more. South. There's actually quite a few Aetherites down here. teleporter. And grab this aetherite. Southeast. South. There it is. And should be one more. East. So continue the circuit. Eventually we should get there. $245 yards. $85 yalms. There it is. There's the last one. Alrighty. We made it nearly all the way around this giant circle. Okay. And might as well just follow the road, finish marking the areas, and get back to Fortuno. And yet more fates. So many fates. Alright. We've discovered all the locations pretty much. Except for the giant central area, which I'm assuming we can't quite get to yet, but there's no currents there anyway, so it's not as big of a deal to me. You look ridiculous hopping around on your bike, sir. Alright. Back to Fortuno. The Aether Burner is being constructed not far from here. Overseeing the work is Kokol Dankol, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary introductions have been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars. This way. Sounds like a Lalafell. The entrance into the place. Ethereal barriers. Yep, I was right. It is in fact a Lalafell. For Sheno? This is the man we seek. Do try not to startle him. Perhaps you'd like to break the ice? He hasn't even realized we're here. Or perhaps he has realized, but just doesn't care. While many of the facilities within the Central Circuit seem to be visible from the upper levels, the more secretive work must be carried out behind closed doors. I was expecting the Sky Steel Manufactory, but instead I find the village smithy. Lols. Surely the Forum hath already petitioned the aid of the Loperites, given their familiarity with such technologies. You'd think so, Urianje, but I doubt it. For a closely guarded secret, you can see practically everything from outside, even with the magical barriers surrounding it. Is he talking to himself? He seems lost in thought, although it seems he's hit something of a stumbling block.
Could swap them out. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost me eyebrows. Think, Coco, think! We'd be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, Master Orkano, what a pleasant surprise.
That is certainly a beard or a mustache.
Already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the Ether Burner conundrum.
Huh. Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
Again, why can't we just bring Sid down here?
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the Ether Burner.
Aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the Ether Burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding.
Welp. Okay then.
Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb. But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient. A measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Poor guy.
Hast thou consulted with the Loperites?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, and as I most certainly do not.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology. You're trying to drive me mad.
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allegan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded.
Trust in
As I
Raha
recall,
to pick up on
The
anything.
record stated it was vital to Dalamit's
Allegan related.
construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. slotting some ends like blowing up a dam and watching the river of ether come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it, though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the ether burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the Northern Empty during the calamity.
It's a good thing we know where to find more chunks of Dalamud.
Well, that extra 6% efficiency would be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
We know we'll find plenty of pieces of
Surely
Dalamud.
the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive calls from Ragnarok class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all delved that far into them before.
It's rough going in there, even for the cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
Well, that's where we come in.
Weren't we near that part of the Ragnarok when we went to destroy Bahamut?
The White Raven's ghost. It haunts me, especially after doing weapons. It haunts me.
Heavens, are you all right? You look pale as a... Well... Best put that battle from your mind for now. Deep breaths.
Thank you, Alice. That was the worst fight of that raid. Just saying. And then we had to fight her again in weapons.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option. Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously... Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours.
Your smiling shell is private.
What's all this?
Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward.
Oh.
This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
He said heaven's word. Ah.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-Wood expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists, or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
I love Serena. She's so adorable.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad.
Yeah, we have friends all over the world.
Anyway, if you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal.
Yeah, we know.
Like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
Yeah, we know.
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's plunder for the taking, and I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
Sicard, a
I'm certain
pirate
that
to
can
the
be
end.
arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
Be proud of him, Forshno, and express it. Wiggle that stick out of your butt. Appreciate you doing this, but I ain't getting me hopes up just yet. There are no oaths or contracts binding the members of the Ilsabard contingent, and in many ways it was even more loosely organized than the Crystal Braves. Nevertheless, I knew none would refuse this call to arms. Truly, we have been blessed with trustworthy and dependable allies. Time and again, it seems the Allagan something or other are either the cause of or the solution to our problems. To think the self-same materials that once launched Dalamud will now be used to help ferry mankind to the moon. There's a poetry in that. Oh, Raha. You and your enthusiasm for all things Allagan. I'm confident that even the deadliest of Allagan defense mechanisms are no match for our allies. At this rate, some of them might soon have as many accomplishments to their name as a certain Warrior of Light. Yeah, good luck with that. Considering how much of a fuss he made at the time, I don't see why he takes every opportunity to bring it up. It was just firewood. It made that much of an impact on him, Estonian, I'm just saying. First the Telefroy, and now the final days. No one can accuse the Ilsabard contingent of backing down from a challenge. Of course, they weren't also so committed to the cause when we first set out. But after seeing the example set by you, Alphino, and the others, the change was palpable. They couldn't help but believe. What serendipitous irony that the remnants of the seventh umbral calamity would become the keys to mankind's salvation. Never more certain have I been that Master Louis watcheth over us from the ethereal sea. About that, Ariange. Yeah. Though Bahamut is long gone, the interment hulks are far from safe. It could be much worse, of course. They won't have to fight their way past the Mericidian dragons, nor is there any danger of the Elder Primal might be summoned again. Even so, I dare say there are still a fair few Allagan creations and contraptions remaining to bar our friend's way. I only hope that Grandfather watches over them. Yep. It's times like these we're reminded of how famous or infamous Alphino has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single Link Pro conversation? As we're expecting a rather lot of visitors in the near future, I'd best return to the service and inform the relevant parties. I will also have a contact of my own that might be worth a try. Oh, and who might that be? That's for me to know and you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. Meanwhile, in Ul'dah, haven't seen much going on here lately. Oh, look at Papashan. And also, Not Teleji,
Our
but
course of
Lolorito.
action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Theurgeist, we have need of your stone torches. They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberk will personally see it done.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade, clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults. Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it.
Nanima's grown a lot.
The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Uldar's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together. It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Uldar will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
And they're playing Coil's music. Meanwhile, in the Black Shroud. It's funny how much they've put on Arun this expansion.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
Oh, hey! Alamegan allies, huh?
Might I suggest taking us along?
Hey, Manago!
Commander Hexed, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Our deficiency so plain to see.
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
At least they're acknowledging that Lise used to be a scion. We haven't forgotten about her completely.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come, let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
It was a little bit of a bother how much of a back seat she's taken since then, but I'm glad she's at least being acknowledged.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
Aww. Never forget. Meanwhile, in Kurthus, get to see how Amric's doing. Oh, and Madeline. Oh, they're going,
There you are. We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already...
Just paying respects to dear Ashafan. Would that he could have been here. Taken from us far too soon.
That was a roar. A dragon's roar.
Indeed it was. As for which dragon it is, I guess we'll find out. Meanwhile, in the Ruby Sea, going just all over the place. And can I see you, Gary, actually reunite with her family for once? Oh, it's this guy.
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honorable Lord Lolorito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid.
I mean, you could just talk to the turtle people. I built a shrine for them, literally. Hey, Sorbonne! Pretty sure this is Sorbonne.
Mm-hmm. Is that...
Hancock? What a surprise this is. And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
Oh, hey! Reference to the fact that I actually did manage to finish that little series of trials. Whee! Turned him into the new Genbu. I'm glad I managed to do as much as I did. I kind of wish I could have managed to finish everything, but as much as I managed to, I squeezed out quite a few things, so that's good. Appreciate you doing this, but ain't getting me hopes up just yet. You'll still say the same stuff? Yep, okay. Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, Oh, that's random. Okay. We will only know if they meet your requirements once they have arrived. In the meantime, is there aught else we might do to be of service? Ha! You've already done more than enough. If I had to say, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about elegant technology. Hey, that one over there with the fluffy tail. You there, the lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. That would be my dear brother. Ha! If only Master Coco knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with the preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favor. I'm as confident as I am that we will succeed. We must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse, and if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the Adamantite. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you've a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlian Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types, busying themselves with preparing for the Exodus. Pah! That lot need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. I shall endeavor to make provide Master Kokol with whatever information he should require. I'll admit, without refined adamantite, I ain't got a bloody clue how else I could get the ether burner performing any better. If you lot don't come up with the goods, we're buggered. I'll do our best. Alright, so where are we going? We're just going around that way. Alright. Still don't have these other quests. I'm guessing there's going to be a dungeon in the Central Circuit somehow. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to happen, but we haven't had a dungeon in Labyrinthos yet. Although, admittedly, we also haven't had one on the moon, but we did have a trial there, so, you know, makes up for it. And we'll probably have a dungeon in the last area before we reach the trial. The final trial. So, but yeah, we'll probably be hitting the level 89 dungeon ere long. Which means I may have to go back and do more side questing. Wheeee! We'll see. We'll see if I manage to eke out enough experience out of this. In order to protect the secrets of the Central Circuit, the researchers must navigate a bewildering maze of paperwork before they are permitted to return to the surface. I suppose it's no different than any other aspect of Charlian society. We do love our bureaucracy. It's very much a mirror of the city above, which is perhaps how it came to be called the Charlian Hamlet. What a quaint little settlement this is. A shame it's hidden hidden underground. I don't mind a bit of heavy lifting, but I draw the line at paperwork. So much as a wave of a sheaf of documents at me and I'll put my lance through it. As surprised as I was to learn the Forum planned to send everyone to the moon, I can't imagine how the common folk must feel about it. Do my senses deceive me? In shadow of yon corner. One can but hope this leadeth not to mischievous undertakings. Is there a Loperate here? Sorry, I have to go see if there happens to be a Loperate hiding around here. Not seeing it. But it'll probably pop up during this conversation or something. As long as Pudding Wave finally got its pudding, I mean, come on, man. Feed the poor bun his pudding. From what I can tell, a lot of people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some of that fresh inspiration Scholar Monteshane mentioned. Let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Let's meet by the Aetheryte once our work is done. And suddenly side quests. Including a blue one. Whoops. Bye, Porum. Alright, there's the blue one. Alright. Well, let me get my peacock back out here then. There you are. Alright, first we're gonna do this blue one because it's probably gonna get me an Aether Current. Veterinarian. Excuse me, ma'am, I couldn't help but notice you've a way about you that simply screams, I have an affinity for creatures of the wilds. And since I'm never wrong about such things, might I trouble you? You see, amongst the troops of trolls living in the Outer Circuit, I came upon one who is sick beyond measure. I took the poor creature in at once and saw him healed, of course, but when I attempted to return him to his rightful home, he flew into a panic as if he could not bear the thought of going back. To make matters worse, the troll saw fit to escape into a den of Analas. I would go after him, but I'm so fumble-footed I'll scare him off like as not and be torn limb from limb for my pains by the fiends. So I turn to you. Would you seek out this troll of which I spoke? I shall provide you with his favorite food, and with it, you should be able to calm the piteous thing. Hopefully, that will be enough to see his senses restored and for him to come hurrying back. And though I shudder to think of it, if any of those fell Analas seek to impede you or pester that troll, make those beasts regret their interference. Oh, and don't worry, you will be rewarded for your efforts. Lovely little variation off of Torn from the Heavens. Here, troll, eat some food. Mwah! Well, that was simple. Almost suspiciously so. Look, he's returned. I can't thank you enough. I know they may not look it, but trolls are really quite intelligent. Indeed, they are an intrinsic part of the woodlands of Labyrinthos and keep it healthy and thriving. Though we've a responsibility to put down the more violent and unruly ones, most trolls, such as this one, are kind, docile things. In fact, my friend here has a real chance of becoming leader of his tribe, perhaps even guardian of the forest someday. It is we who saw these creatures removed from their natural habitats and relocated them within Labyrinthos. Thus, we've a responsibility to watch over them, to ensure they are well, and it would be too cruel to dispose of one simply because they are under the weather. Ah yes, your reward. Here, as promised. Now then, it's high time I saw this fellow return to the Outer Circuit. Farewell, adventurer. have a feeling I know how this might connect to earlier Aether Current quest we did. Just saying. Considering that too involved a particularly smart troll. Silken Grin. That is quite a name you've given yourself. Hello. Are you one of the new helpers? Working on the Aether Burner? Oh dear, I heard things had come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I choose that over my current duties, checking and loading samples day in and day out. It's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be cross if I misplace a few legumes or what have you. The Forum's got enough on their plate as it is, what with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when. A lot of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Fortuno and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? Another road again. Helping out with the Ark, even with all the power Master Kokol's managed to squeeze out of the Aether Burner, it's still not enough apparently. And now I hear the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we'd begun the exodus sooner. People are dying and there'll be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We've spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan and all will be well. Offering to help? That's very kind, but I should be able to organize the rest of the documents by myself. It's mostly lists of things we'll need once we arrive on the moon, and then whichever star we choose as our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I look forward to finally meeting them in person after having communicated with them in such limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I'm not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous looming giants. Why, I would much prefer something small and fluffy, like that beheaded rabbit that ran by. Oh boy. Why is there a loperate running around here? And which one is it? Is it Puddingway? I suspect it may be Puddingway. I don't know why I suspect Puddingway, but I just pulled him out because, my goodness, he made an impression when he showed up. Let's see. Everyone's gathered around here, so he's probably over here somewhere. Yep. Oh no, it's just Living Way and Growing Way and Singing Way. Then where's Puddingway? Come on, Puddingway's got to be here too somewhere. Ah, there he is. This person's standing on top of him. Oh, that's Cooking Way. That's not Puddingway. Where's Puddingway?
How marvelous it is to see you again. You'll be pleased to hear that I've learned much since our fascinating discussion at the Curatorium. It's all thanks to Arianja, you see. He's taught me the finer points of cooking, which, despite my name, I knew very little about. So many dishes, so many hard-to-pronounce words. Actually, I was rather hoping he'd show me how to bake an Archaeon loaf. They're quite popular, I hear, though it doesn't sound like it contains any flavor to speak of. Still, if that's the sort of thing that your kind enjoys, I shall make enough to last the whole journey. Okay. Arianja, why? Oh, Arianja's here too. Oh, what a joy to sample the delights of Aetherius. Crikey, I wasn't expecting to see you here, Shallan. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to say goodbye, and for having those other loperats attack you. Terrible misunderstanding, that. Not to worry, though, as all have since recovered from the rather savage beating you administered. They bear you no ill will. Well, perhaps a little on account of the savagery, but time heals all wounds. Most, anyway.
Twould appear the loperats have infiltrated Sharlayan's most heavily guarded facility. How? I know not.
Fancy meeting you here, Shallan. Our friends friends in the forum brought us here to see their teeny tiny boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is the theories itself, though we now find ourselves in a sort of funny underground miniaturization of it. We were hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around, or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Urianger and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. Won't that be fun?
Oh, goodness, Urianger. Why? A tour of Labyrinthos? An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and Bestway's burrows, twould be in our best interest to have the Loporits acquaint themselves with those conditions deemed optimal by their Charlian collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing rather than broadening their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture.
What a marvelous idea! Might we begin with that great big what's-it over yonder?
Ah, yes, the what's-it. I shall leave its explanation to Shallan. What's it are you talking about? Dealing with the baby buns again. What's it are you talking about? That what's it? I don't even know what that what's it is. The Loporits' technical expertise does far outstrip our own. We would be wise to allow them to form their own conclusions as to the function of the various apparatus, rather than offer uninformed suppositions of our own. Unless, that is, unbeknownst to me, thou art possessed of surpassing knowledge concerning the construction and operation of advanced Charlian... what's-its? He is singing. He is relentlessly singing.
My word, what magnificent architecture! Such immaculate curvature! I'll have to make several adjustments to my work if I'm to match this degree of craftsmanship. I shall leave no corner unrounded. Considering Singing Way and Growing Way's specialties, I expect them to pay full attention to your explanations, which I am sure that will be most informative. This is all very intriguing, I'm sure, but where's the food preparation stations? What was your word for it? Kitchens? That reminds me. Puddingway, our newly appointed chief of pudding research, a discipline he himself founded after sampling Urianger's delights, has gone in search of Aetherius' ultimate sweet treat. Well, provided it's a pudding, as that's all he ever talks about these days. Have you seen him? That's what I was wondering where he was. Like, where? Seriously, where is Puddingway? Where is he gone? All right, Singing Way. Goodness me, to build something so large without creation magics is positively stupendous. Perhaps you could direct our attention to its most important features?
Oh, goodness. Alright, well... okay, then. I take it this is the what's it working mushroom-like thing.
This looks like the trees in Greatest Innsvale. Hold on, that's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced, too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water.
Tanks, metallic tube. Ah, there we are.
Is that water I hear from inside the great big tube? It must be because of those cogs and the gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw up the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside it, too.
Man, these buns are smarter than I give them credit for. Alright, and we're observing tanks. What? You spotted an ambystoma, an especially lively one at that. It would appear that the concept you observed in another time, another place, was approved for life in the wider world somehow. Oh my goodness. Oh, oh the little flying axolotl. Oh, it exists still. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's there, and I'm so glad I saw it. It's a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected to the top of those tanks? And I can see through that window another pipe at the bottom. Ah, this must be for purifying water drawn up from below. The little flying axolotl, I love it. Ah, I'm dying. Well, if I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower before being distributed elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it! A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would take only a moment to install in even the harshest of environments. For us loperists, that is. Indeed, securing a reliable source of water is of the utmost importance for any fledgling settlement. We have read, however, that peoples of Etheria sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? Let's see. Water sites are common sites for villages in Albania. Many settlements in Thanalon are built near an oasis. I guess this is probably, I mean, they're both explainable, but... So wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We can provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear that they rely on it for far more than we'd anticipated. A few adjustments may be in order once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual. It may also be worth learning more about how exactly they obtain their water in the first place. Master Alphino spoke of the machinery responsible for that feat during our journey through the Logisticon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Loperits will share his appreciation for the engineering marvel. Oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid! We must journey beyond the sanctuary of the Charlian hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean we'll have to brave the untamed wilderness? A valid concern indeed. We could not help but notice the many dangerous-looking creatures with big, nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of the settlement. Were we not escorted here by burly custodians, I dread to think what would have become of us. Regrettably, to many a hungry predator with the aforementioned big nasty teeth, Loperits may appear to be a potential and rather appetizing source of sustenance. I love how he adopts phrases. Might I impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage to the Logisticon Alpha? For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way. I entrust Singing Way and Growing Way to thy care. Okay, I guess just leave it to me. A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Way. Do the water extraction, what's it? Don't get too far ahead of me or else you will get eaten.
way forward is not as clear as we'd like. Could you go ahead and take a look? Perhaps you could tell the local beasties we're not nearly as delicious as we might appear.
Well, I got that guy's thing as well. Alright, now he's got his attention.
I say, that fiend has had a mind to feast on a roasted loperate. Thank you so much! I really hope this water extraction is worth these harrowing experiences. All part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burnt to a crisp if it's all the same to you.
Run, Buns, run! Just follow the road.
Let's get moving. That building looks nice and solid and safe. You've done well to see these two here safely. They can be a bit skittish at the best of times, so I'm pleasantly surprised they didn't run off and get themselves killed. That was all very exciting, but I'd rather not do it again. Wait, how exactly were we planning to head back later? I couldn't help but notice a distinct lack of carrots along the way, or many of the other vegetables I was expecting to see, though I did catch a glimpse of some sort of bipedal tomato charging about. Must be my imagination.
No, it wasn't cooking away, unfortunately. My friends, I bid you welcome to the Logisticon Alpha. Our destination doth lie at the lift's top. Pray, follow me. How did I get roped into this? You'll need to use this lift to reach the Medial Circuit. Let's go. On this occasion, it would behoove us to seek the counsel of those qualified to describe the workings of the apparatus. They may also be in possession of schematics and other useful documentation, should the Loperids request them. As for the forum's esteemed guests, 'tis unlikely they would be refused. Yet thou knowest well that, as I, the changeable disposition of Charlian bureaucrats.
Forgive me for asking, but are we any closer to the kitchens? Come to think of it, why am I even here? Atmospheric manipulators are hardly my area of expertise. That was terrifying, but at least the scenery was more pleasant than Wasnam Garlemald. As the first impression of Aetherius, it was far from favorable. Anyway, onwards and upwards, quite literally as is the case here. As I understand, places like Labyrinthos are the exception rather than the rule. You don't all build enormous underground living spaces like this, surely. Marvelous, simply marvelous. So this is where the magic, or science rather, takes place. The perfect environment to sustain life, artificially created. The knowledge we'll gain here will be essentials when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. If you're all very lucky that Aetherius just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out that way because of the available resources, I wonder? Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I cannot wait to see more of it. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment provision facilities. In other words, where's the food? I believe both the knowledge of and consumables you seek may be found at the Medial Archaeonomics. As I imagine Singing Way and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus, wouldst thou be so kind as to escort our visiting culinarian? Yes, that sounds much more interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Urianger was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if a bit too verbose descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention Aetherius will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there is still time. Let us brook no further delay. Wheeee! Just running errands for bunnies. Ah, it's nighttime. I mean, it's... Oh yeah, I guess it just turned nighttime. The time is going by quite swiftly. Agriculture shock. Lols. This is the place, yes? That heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I've spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in your compendium. I'd dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they would be willing to part with a few samples? Clicking away is now accompanying you. Whee! Come with me, baby bun. I have my own pet baby bun now. What a fine mess this is. Ah, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the Exodus. And I'm not the only one. We've all got to find ways to do what we do down here from up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the Forum decides will become our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us. But no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in the new environment. So many species doomed to extinction. I'm sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce, if we may. By all means, help yourselves. Much appreciated, my good fellow. So, where to begin? I'm sure there might be carrots around here somewhere. Hopefully you won't eat them all. Grapes. Buns like grapes. Oh, I know what these are. Grapes, yes. Let's see if they're as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. The taste is much like the ripe philosopher's carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, that's certainly given me some food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what is your opinion of grapes? I'd brave an erupting volcano for a choice bunch. Yes, they are rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I've read, they're quite versatile, too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. Orange by name, orange by nature. What came first, the fruit or the color? Who cares? Let's eat! Yes, that's... Equal parts sweet and sour, as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult with Ariane about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Perhaps what I'm looking for is... bitter. This is all very complicated, you know. So many flavors, so many choices, and each individual with their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turn your noses up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they still are in my estimation, let no one say I said otherwise. But speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what's in that field over there. That color, that texture. Are they some sort of enormous round carrots? No. In any case, proper nomenclature is of less concern than the taste. Blech! It's so hard and flavorless, I may as well be chewing on a piece of wood. That all but confirms it. There's nothing more than these misbegotten failures masquerading as goodly carrots. These are nothing more than... Stop, stop, stop. Can't you see these are pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try eating them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. And what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. Perhaps even these little hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. I wonder, though, is there anything even more delicious? How about that yellow fruit over yonder? Are you gonna try to eat a lemon? Oh boy. Straight up try to eat a lemon off a tree. Well, enjoy. What a wonderful fragrance. With luck, it'll have a flavor to match. You might want to pour some sugar on it, but as I have no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. This is gonna be... My tongue is just poisoned. A lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How can something so similar to an orange be so revolting? It may be some time before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I'd best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewell and return to the others. Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges. Less so the pumpkin, though I learned the hard way that they're not to be eaten raw. And then there was the lemon. The deceiver. I still feel so violated. First time, was it? I'd hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth in more ways than one, so I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn this opportunity to... a bit of sick came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, Lemon Muffin. Do your worst. This is... delicious! Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed its vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See? We rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal, and sometimes it can even be the difference between life and death.
I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the Forum agonized over what was worth preserving, and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we are to survive.
Such strength of will. Now I know what Hydaelyn sees in your kind. Mankind, the Loperids, we were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the fates of the stars themselves. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirement for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. 'Tis a paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations since time immemorial have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What then is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect, to be content with what we have and make the most of it. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins.
Pardon my Eorzean, but what in the Seven Hells are you talking about? And who are you, anyway?
Cooking Way at your service, and I'm here to help you prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many of Aetherius' species as possible if you're up to the challenge.
Yes, of course. I look forward to it.
Well, this has been all highly productive. Probably. Let's go and see if Urianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we?
Oof. Extended bun talk. It's a good thing my voice has the fortitude to do it for a while at this point. Squonk Pisahart. Okay, that's a name. Leave me alone, garlic. By Cooking Way's broad grin, I assume your excursion was a roaring success.
Oh, there you are. Have the elders finished talking about rainmaking what's it yet? Where have you and Cooking Way been? The two of you were engaged in pursuits of an educational nature. You should have taken me too. I am the leader after all. Not to rub it in, but we had the most fantastic time while you were away. Urianger was able to obtain all manner of meteorological data for us to pore over. I'll be sure to put my newfound knowledge to good use once we return to the moon. It's my duty to make your journey as comfortable as possible, though there's no telling how long it will be. 100 years? 1,000? Probably closer to 5,000, give or take. That was most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for their cuisine?
Fari says, oodles of noodles. I wish I could make a comment about sushi because Shallon's obsessed with sushi. But anyway. Limsa Lominsa is home to the Culinarians Guild and many less than savory establishments.
Would that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Aetherius, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Hydaelyn's orders were to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way.
Shallan, I trust thy time in Meryl Argonomics did bear fruit. Thanks for the pun, Arianje. Our own efforts, too, were rewarded. We now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them and us for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let us return to Charlie and Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend each and every Loperate here for further questions within my power should further questions within my power to answer should arise. Words.
Aww.
No other side quests have popped up yet, but they may.
Delightful. With this much information, I can fine-tune the moon's environs for your people's comfort. It's surprisingly tricky to estimate the appropriate temperature settings for being so lacking in fur.
I have fur. True, it's not all over my body, but I have fur on my ears and tail.
Why did I not ask Jeb Cow to make carrot muffins? We could have had baked goods bursting with happiness. Oh no, there was nowhere in particular I was hoping to go. I simply wish to see, hear, feel, think as much as I possibly can while we're here. What's that look for? What did I say?
The Loperates want for activities and stimulation, but I struggle to conceive of how to busy them whilst we wait. Something wrong, Growing?
Yes, Shallan, that was indeed me verbalizing a sigh to express my emotional state. Do you want to know why? Because I saw the reconstructed environmental data for Aetherius at Logisticon Alpha, that's why. The forest is so lovely and so leafy. Are all your forests like that?
You should see the forest of the first one was purple. They're verdant, at least. The trees of Dravania stand particularly proud.
Gasp! Gasp, I say! With a star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you, trying so hard yet achieving so little.
Not at all. Thy works are no less worthy for their uniqueness. I thought I heard tiny voices. Thancred. How didst thou fare? Oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping move their cargo. Preparations have proceeded without interruption here, despite the news of the coming end. We have the forum's leadership to thank for that. That doesn't mean people aren't worried, though, quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike at any moment, they hurried to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could cause the difference between life and death, and we can hardly tell them there's no cause for concern. Perhaps not, though aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten their burden.
Me? Pete, of use to people? I'm honored that you would think of me so capable, but I'm not sure I'm up to the challenge.
Nevertheless, I believe in thee.
If you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try.
I passed someone moping in the Western Plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you might start with him. "'Tis as good a place as any. Come." You'd best go with him. I don't think Urianger misjudged him, but Growing Way does look like he could use some emotional support. I still have work to complete elsewhere. I trust that I won't return to find any Loperits in tears. Do my best, Thancred. Oh, can I help you? It is you who would help me? Is my anxiety truly so obvious? A burden shared is a burden eased. Pray tell us of thy troubles. Those little fellows do look like good listeners. I'm an engineer, you see, and what they say of the ship, that it's the sum of the decades of Charlian ingenuity, and that it's built with peerless elegant technology, is all true, but... I know that none of that's a guarantee. We've never before launched a starfaring vessel, let alone flown it in the great expanse. All the tests we've run have been on the ground. The only operational personnel and cargo will be aboard for the first voyage, but even so, if it fails us, then what can we do? And if it doesn't, it could fall apart on the next flight or the one after that. We've done everything we can to prevent that from happening, but it hardly matters. We thought the Aetherburner's design was flawless too, and look how that turned out. Art thou familiar with these most daunting technologies, and thus dost thou hold the power to allay his fears?
Oh, I'm not sure about that, but, well... Maybe you could tell me if there's any aspects of the ship's design that you're especially worried about?
Our ability to walk about and perform our tasks, for one. I've devised a means by which to employ gravity, a spatio-temporal spell, to regulate the environment, but what if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we've left the star?
Ah, gravitation. Maybe I can be of help after all. Up there is not so different from down here, you see? The same rules apply. And if you consider them as part of one great big cosmos rather than separate places...
Oh, it's so cute. I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation. Yet if Thancred's tale be true, there's still others who would benefit from insights born of experience. Might I prevail upon the Loperits to attend to them?
An excellent idea, if I do say so myself. There is naught we'd like more than to ease the hearts of the fine people of Aetherius, and learn more about them while we're at it. Full glad am I to hear it. Gather thy companions and bring them hither. Shallan, thou hast a gift for finding souls in need of succor. Pray seek the distressed and the apprehensive, and inform them that help is at hand. I shall await them here, that I might introduce them to a suitable loperate. Leave it to me. Oh, I do so look forward to that! A place for every loperate in their place. Thank the heavens I asked you. Yes, precisely. However, it would also be prudent to have a redundant system in the event of failure. The final days doubtless weigh upon the minds of many in Sharlayan hamlet, pillars of Exodus as they are. Pray bring them hither. Oh, I spy one person over there on the other side of this bush. If I can get over the bush. Okay, I can jump over the bush. Yay! Apologies, but I am awaiting a delivery. Whatever it is, it will have to wait. Seems the Gleaner is too busy to chat for his benefit or otherwise. There's 8 people in this circle. Just leave me to my misery. The Forum can appoint someone else. I apologize. I simply do not know what to do. How am I supposed to pilot the Ark if I'm already falling apart under the pressure? You know a starship pilot I might speak with? Truly? Well then, there's no time to waste. They can help me prepare for this monumental task. Is anything bothering me? Well, I've been loading cargo for bells now, so my back feels like a void since played it as a piano. My feet and knees as drums and cymbals, too. Gleaner seems fine if in need of a break. Have you heard anything of what's up on the moon? I do not doubt that we can make it up there, but the searching for a new star part of the plan sounds awfully vague to me. I asked the Forum, but they will only tell us that our collaborators have everything under control. Forgive me, but I don't feel particularly safe wandering through the sea of stars on gods know what made by gods know who. You mean to say that I can speak with them directly? Amazing! I hope they like questions. You can go speak with the baby buns. My face? What's wrong with my... Ah, perhaps I am a bit tense. I was tasked with ensuring that the proper fauna, and only the proper fauna, are brought with us to the moon. However, the suitability of a few species is still under debate, and I can hardly make the decision myself when I know so little about the environment up there. Including the Loperates in our discussions is a wonderful idea. I absolutely will, thank you. Perhaps their biology itself may offer some clue as well. Don't dissect one, please. Consult our collaborators. I suppose it would be more effective than sitting here brooding. I'm attempting to calculate how much cargo we can consolidate into fewer trips, should the Aether Burner make our original estimates unfeasible. But there are simply too many variables. I feel as if my brow will turn inside out. But perhaps our lunar associates will have more insight into how much weight constitutes too much weight for our purposes. Thank you for letting me know. might I help you? My, what a lovely idea. I too noticed people becoming rather tense, so I rushed out here to pluck some fresh and fragrant tea leaves. Now I need only track down 100 or so cups. But don't you worry, I can manage. I hope your plan to cheer everyone up goes well. Woman is doing better than you are. Blasted assistants, where are they gone off to at a time like this? Beg pardon, but I have not the time for idle chit-chat. I need to reconfirm that the aether levels are consistent throughout the vessel's machinery, and it seems I shall have to do so single-handedly. I swear when I find those assistants of mine. The Loperts are willing to help? Why didn't you say so? At least they won't moan about how they checked 24 times already and haven't slept in weeks. Lazy sods. Yes, you idiot! Have you seen an envelope lying about? The imbecile refuses to give me the alchemic I've ordered without that bloody slip of parchment. Unless your friends have a spell to make me remember where I dropped my damned envelope, I doubt they'll be any more help than you, and you've wasted enough of my time already. It would be unfortunate for all involved to this conflict to inflict this man upon the Loperts. What am I thinking about? The medical facilities on the ship, of course. I designed them with the assistance of our sages and chirurgeons, but to imagine every illness or injury that one might face in that great expanse is beyond any of us, to say nothing of the effects that living out there indefinitely might have on the body. The crew from the moon? Why did I not think of that? The end of the world is nigh, yet the work goes no faster. Schedules are such temperamental things. Feasible one moment, utter bollocks the next. And yet, I've never felt so alive. This one is beyond your help. Only sleep can save her now. Oh, goodness. "56 bunches of weeds on the ground, 56 bunches of weeds. Rip one out, add to the mound, 55 bunches of weeds in the..." Yep! I'm not neglecting my duties, I swear. I was in need of a little break, you see, but then I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went on a walk, and then I noticed these weeds, and... pleasant conversation partners, and oh so fuzzy! Goodness me, that does sound like a much better way to relax. I need to find one more. Where is this last person? There you are. Well, possibly. Probably not given the fact that you were level-headed, but we'll see. Concerns? Nay, there's no point worrying at this stage. It'll only make the work go that much slower. Woman seems to be coping well. Ah. So many people. Don't see anyone over here.
Yeah. Find the last elusive person, wherever they may be. This looks promising. Maybe. We'll see. Worries. No, I believe I'm fine, thank you. I've been confiding in my colleagues, and it's helped a lot. Can't recommend it enough. Researcher already has all the support she needs. Come on, where is this last person? I'm gonna be running around forever, aren't I? Where is this last person? Dang it! I don't know where else to look. I'm pretty sure. Oh, there we are. Yeah, you're probably the one. Maybe. By the gods, my chest is tight. Am I dying? Is this what dying feels like? Oh, do pardon me. I didn't see you there. There's no cause for concern, I assure you. No cause for concern, even though we may need to depart at any moment. And if the whole design buckles under the strain, the entire vessel may explode on launch, claiming countless lives, dooming all mankind. But that's highly unlikely. Yes, highly unlikely. Highly. Our visitors can help me triple-check for structural flaws, you say? Why, that would be wonderful. I'm breathing more easily already. Alright, there's everybody, finally. Growing Way has been a godsend. I can look upon what we've built with clarity now. However, most of you won't die. Oh goodness. All the buns. Behold, Shallon. Through thine efforts, word hath spread throughout Labyrinthos. Verily, to a far greater number than we anticipated. Living Way doth gather more loporits as we speak. I shall assign each in accordance with their skill, that new bonds of friendship might be forged. Should greater matters require not thine intentions, watch over them, I prithee. Here we are. Look at all the buns.
some rest. Why, I haven't spoken so much in, well, in forever.
Lively, isn't it? The town is abuzz. Everyone eager to meet with our friends from the moon.
'Twould behoove you to consult with Sleeping Way. As our moon's pilot, his advice should be most pertinent.
I'm impressed. Truth be told, I struggle to tell one from another. No offense intended, of course.
None taken. After you and your friends left Mare Elementorum, we spent no small amount of time with your Urianger. Oh, the conversations we had. He told us all about Atheris, answered our every question, no matter how trifling or trivial. Look! Every page filled to the margins with knowledge. When I first arrived, I was struck by how little I knew. It was daunting. But then I realized that, were it not for Urianger and his teachings, we'd still be stuck on the moon, gazing at your world and wondering what we've been missing.
What would they think if they could see Urianger now? I dare say they'd be more than a bit surprised. And impressed, no doubt. Master Louisoix, Minfilia, Papalimo, and not to forget.
Oh, there they are. I was wondering if we'd ever see them.
Oh there. Heard there was a visiting expert who we might bother with a few questions. I take it you'd be the one.
Oh boy. I'm here for emotional support.
Yes, I am.
Wilson and Blovida, Sharlayan's foremost researchers in the field of teleportation magic, and Moonbreeder's parents.
I had a feeling we'd run into them at some point.
It hath been some time. 'Tis good to see you in good health.
Likewise, old friend. Blovida and I were most honored to answer the call. Never expected this reunion, though, did we, dear?
I'll say, the nerve. Sending that letter, then running off to the gods know where.
Aww. Aww.
Do you have any idea how worried we were?
I'm sorry. 'Twas remiss of me not to deliver the news in person. No, more than that.
I mean, they did wish him to be their son-in-law, I'm pretty sure.
Our daughter was disillusioned after Master Louisoix left her behind. The day the Scions called upon her was the happiest I'd seen her in years. She made her every choice of her own free will. No one could have ever forced her to do otherwise. Don't blame yourself for her death. Celebrate her life. You know that's what she'd want.
If there is one thing we resent you for, it was that we could not be there to mourn her with you. Reading the words you penned in that shaky hand, we must have cried as much for you as we did for her.
I'm sorry. I truly, truly am. I knew not what to say. Knew not how to express my feelings. The poems and platitudes of wiser men, musings on sadness and loss, studied and memorized, and meaningless in the moment.
Silly boy. We are all powerless before such grief. Even now, try as I might, the words escape me. But in our hearts, we know. We always know.
I remember when you were young, how the lads teased you for choosing the company of books over others. Our moon didn't take kindly to that. Be nice to Urianger, she'd shout, and give them a walloping. No matter how many times we scolded her.
So we offered a suggestion. Rather than starting fights, why don't you be the bridge between Urianger and the others? She had to mull it over for a while, arms crossed, brow furrowed in intense thought. But from that day on, she never let you be alone. She'd drag you outside to play, pepper you with endless questions, read the same books you read, all to try and understand you that much better. I'm sure it was annoying and exhausting at the time, but she only ever had the best of intentions.
And look at you now, at the center of the crowd. The reason there even is a crowd, having brought these people together. You've no idea how proud we are.
To see the boy, our daughter, trusted and believed in more than anyone, grow into the man she always knew he could be. I can see her in you, too. Feel her. She walks with you wheresoever you go. So thank you, Urianger, for being who you are.
I think I can feel her too. The truth of her life. Not sorrow, but hope and love.
She was important to him, wasn't she?
You could ask the man himself.
Oh, no. But watching this exchange reminds me how much I've yet to learn about your world. And its people.
You can live here your entire life and hardly learn a thing. And that's why it's too soon for this to end.
Oh, she was taken from us far too soon. We barely even got to get to know her. I am really glad for this follow-up, though, that she's not forgotten and she's not just occasionally mentioned, but they actually had a follow-up for her. Remind me to invite Urianger for a drink when we have a moment to breathe. We're long overdue for one. We can raise a glass to Moonbrita. Oh, I have to do a low pro voice. Alright.
I assure you that my fellow Loperites are equally excited to have this opportunity. They were humming the whole way here. I was so busy asking questions about Atheris, I never thought to ask more about Urianger. I'd like to, but where to begin? Goodness me, I've never felt like there was... Goodness me, I've never felt like there was too little time before. There are so many people to talk to, so many things to learn. We spent so long gazing at this star, wondering and hoping, but to be here now, to walk among the people, to be part of their lives and know that we've made a difference, it's so much more than I ever dreamed.
Oh, you must be one of the Scions, correct? Thank you for caring for my daughter. The time she spent with you was all too short, but I know she was proud to have you as comrades. Urianger is too, I'm sure, and I certainly feel better for knowing he has good friends to look after him. See that he comes home from time to time, will you? The classical Rhodogan language isn't so different from Eorzean. Did you ever wonder why we named our daughter Moon's Bride? When I first held her, the moon was shining full and silver. The whole world seemed to glow. I knew it had chosen her, that she would be a beacon of that self-same light. Of course, we'd later hear our fair share of jokes about how we ought to have gone for sun instead, with how bright and stubborn she was. But fiery as my Moonbrita was, she was always kind and gentle. Oh, Shallan, be assured that I am fine. I am. Full glad to see them too, after so very long. Gladder still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, it would have been far harder had I faced them alone. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Ugh, this game really likes to jerk tears out of me from time to time. Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the Loperites. Not disposed to rest on their laurels, several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few may still come hither seeking counsel, and so I shall remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Alice. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she's less like to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several other things I ought to be doing. Until later. Squeal, squeal. Oh no, what's in there? Shallan, what are you doing out here? No, I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? Well, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get these to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Alphina should be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there. Deliver a crate to Alpha now. You have 3 minutes. I feel like this track is just a touch too short to be listening to on loop. Just a touch. Maybe could have added another 30 seconds to it somehow. And of course there's a fate right in the middle of this madness. Why is there a fate in the middle of my path? Oh, you're helping with the crates. Wonderful. You can put that one there with the others. You have my gratitude, but how did you come to be involved in this? I was voluntold to. Then I suppose I have Thancred to thank as well. If you're wondering why we were tasked with bringing the boxes to Aporia to begin with, so was I. It turns out that this is the base of operations of sorts, with those with final say as to what is included in the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. That should be everything. You carried all of that at once? Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh, hush, they're lighter than they look, and not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we finished. Theopoldin is in the courtyard. We can report to him. Why don't you come along? You should get credit for your assistance, at least. Considering where we are, we might even learn something interesting. You're not Fortuno. I thought that was Fortuno for a moment. I keep thinking of that I've seen him elsewhere, but I cannot for the life of me remember when. This must be Theopoldin. Gods, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We brought the samples from Charlie and Hamlet. Series 110. The crates are by the entrance. Ah, thank you. I had expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully short-handed. Just a moment. You're Fortuno's children, are you not? Alphino and Alice at your service. You're well acquainted with Father, I take it? Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days at the studium. I remember when you were yay high, waddling hither and thither. Clearly, it's been quite some time since we've met. Good to see you again, wielding your father's no less. You knew our parents when they were young? What were they like? Pray spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you. Alas, I am meant to be in charge here, and reams of paperwork want for submission. We can help you with that, in exchange for the sort of stories our parents would never willingly divulge, of course. Very well then, there happen to be 3 sets of documents in need of delivery, so how about you each take one? Wait right there.
You'll find the forum representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Alphino and Alice, I'm certain they'll be back soon enough. Are you not one of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the Aether Burner. Theopolin's paperwork. I was beginning to worry he had misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help in seeing these documents to my hands at last. As for your other task, pray keep this between us, but I sincerely hope you Scions succeed. The Exodus is, without a doubt, the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum, so we must be circumspect in all respects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Shalyan has ever been a nation of the curious. 'Twould be a tragedy indeed if we were the ones to stymie your pursuit of truth. Quick and efficient. I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins' papers need only be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment. And they happen to arrive at the same time. We return with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe you struggled out of your swaddling clothes and... That's quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd asked to hear, to reiterate. Of course, of course. I've known your father for so long, I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the Levier names garner such respect in Sharlayan is your family's storied history. The two of you can trace your ancestry directly to those who came aboard Neokuf's Hope, a lineage few can claim. I never thought much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation. We were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. Why, Neokef's pronouncement, renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, Archon Louis Wall looked not to Neokef's words, but his deeds. He asserted, in defiance of his peers, that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was the true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy and the fall of civilizations, that led him to conclude that to issue conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. There will ever be conflict, and calamity will follow. Thus, to ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. You remember his words well. Indeed, Archon Louis Wall lived by that personal creed, and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Sharlayan or no. No one loved or admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet Fortunato could not reconcile Louis Wall's deeds with the philosophy of their forebears and his peers, a philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fortunato agonized over this contradiction for much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. Is it not always thus? Gods know Fortunato's a cranky old goat, but I am sure you butt heads often enough. Even so, you must know that you are constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day, and that is not an exaggeration in the slightest. You should have seen him when you were born. Barely recognizable he was, with a kind of dumbfounded grin I had not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. But he is also frustratingly single-minded. Once he's decided that a given action is for the best, he will stay the course, no matter who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're on the other end of it, as I'm sure you will agree. I'll say. Thank you for your insight. When next we meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the forearm on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or that cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. Hail, you three! Hey, Raha. Graha, surely Kokol hasn't driven you out of the forge already. For better or for worse, no. He, however, has set me on a task that requires more than my single pair of hands, and here you are. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alice and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it is. What about you, Shalyn? Can you spare the time? For my brother, always. Perfect. This shouldn't take long. 'Tis strange to hear father spoken of in such a way, but I suppose he would find your view of me no less odd. Much as I'd like to press the Apollon for more revealing tidbits, we should be getting back to our tasks. In the event that our, and I quote, promised heap of adamantite falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap, Master Kokol wishes to be ready to put the proverbial hammer to anvil at a moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames in Kokol's forge to burn hotter. He sent me to increase the amount of ether being funneled into his furnaces. The flow of fire-aspected ether in Labyrinthos is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I have borrowed the key. The adjustment will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process once we arrive. This is where we part then. We'll see you in the Charlian hamlet once the Adamantite arrives, and if not before. This way then. The reactor is housed within this facility. I'll be the one to go inside and adjust the fire ether output. When I do, a rather large amount of water-aspected ether will issue from the vent at the top. I expect this to attract at least a few elementals, which we would both rather not be drawn into the reactor itself, trust me. Can I ask you to put down any that draw too near? They'll pose you little trouble, I am sure. Wait here if you would. They're just trying to eat. The poor elementals. I've actually fed such things in the past. Oh, that's just an Appa, okay. Here we actually have sprites. Indeed, indeed. That is something Shalyn and Jules will have to share with Xena whenever they get back to her.
Did everything go smoothly out here? I thought as much. No major complications to speak of inside either. And the water ether appears to be venting properly. I expect Coco will have seen the difference in his forge flames by the time I return. And the sun is setting again already. Since I have you, there was another matter I thought to discuss with you. Nothing terribly important, merely something I've been considering. Part of this I've shared with everyone, yet you and only you have been to Elpis. This is true. As we have established, refined adamantite is a product of Alleg, of the Empire's twilight years in fact. It was a material which saw much use as part of the Allegan's efforts to extend beyond the bounds of the world, Dalamud of course being the most prominent. Of those who would push further, expand Allegan's empire to encompass the heavens and the stars above, perhaps the greatest was its infamous technologist, Amon. Good old Fan Daniel. Hermes. Did he remember his life as Hermes? I believe he had his own reasons. There is no evidence to suggest that he retained memories of his former life. He only joined the Ascians once the Empire was all but dust, as you know. If not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor? This may seem far-fetched, but what if souls, like minds, have a personality, so to speak, a natural disposition toward which they are inclined? I mean, given what I've learned of Azem, we know with relative certainty that it was a gross decadence and inexorable decline of Alleg that moved Amon to resurrect Emperor Zandi. The Emperor's people spoke lightly of death and destruction, experimenting on those they deemed beneath them to fill the emptiness in their hearts. In facilitating Zandi's return, Amon provided these languid souls with the means to free themselves from the mire of their own indolence. Or would have, had not Zandi been convinced by his own death that life itself was meaningless. Amon's desire for his countrymen to conquer the heavens could only be a means to that same end, to instill the people with new purpose. Like Hermes before him, Amon was appalled by how those around him lived, but could never bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning. And both of them sought that meaning, that hope, in the distant stars. Such is my theory, anyway. Ultimately, it is the consequences of their actions which matter. Their motives are of no moment, and yet... To reach those stars on wings of adamantite, to travel to the ends of creation and beyond, the promise of hope everlasting, that much I do understand. But enough musing for now. Why don't we see how Coco is getting on? Oh, it's getting to be a bit of a Heavensward remix. And alright, it's faster to go this way. Oh. Well then. Where are these quests? They are up there. Okay then. Actually, how much does it cost to travel there? 70. I think it's 70 for everywhere in here. Alrighty, let's get these Aether Currents, shall we? These are the last ones, correct? Yes, aside from the one we get for completing the area. Oh, what am I to do? Ah, you're that adventurer who helped out the students of Valdesian, aren't you? I suppose it matters not to you, but my son seems to have run away. I thought only researchers lived here. Ah,
yes. Simply put, my wife and I work at Aporia, and she happened to conceive whilst we are living here in the Charlian hamlet. I assure you, we had many sleepless nights wondering if we should quit our jobs and leave Labyrinthos, or entrust the child to a friend of ours who dwells somewhere outside more suitable. Ultimately, we decided to continue our work whilst raising the child here. After all, our research is focused on the very future that our offspring will inhabit. The issue is, however, that the magic that prevents us from revealing anything confidential is too potent to be used on children. Of course, we can't allow the little one to roam freely. There's no telling what he might impart unto others, so he has spent his entire life thus far within the confines of Charlian Hamlet. We recently had a slight spat with him, and, well, he decided to flee. I imagine me going after him would only make things worse. Could I ask you to talk to him in my stead? I'm sure he'd be much more willing to listen to anyone other than his parents at this point. Leave it to me. Thank you. Verpaline, my boy, is most likely in the plaza to the east. I cannot imagine he struck out any further on his own. He's kind of old. He's like Alpha No and Alisade's age almost. Maybe a little younger, but not much. What? Who are you? Run away! Run away! Come back here, child. Why must I always be chasing after children? I hope my own child doesn't run away like this one day. I'm not going to go home so easily. You probably won't believe me either, but I've noticed that not all is right in Labyrinthos. Why don't you try telling me first? Fine, I shall tell you what I've seen. The color of the artificial light here changed recently. Of course, we're doing this at nighttime, which is awkward. I'm sure most people haven't noticed, but when you've spent your whole life here, the difference is like night and day. Even so, no one will take me seriously when I bring it up, all because of my age. I got into a big fight with Father about it. But Labyrinthos is in danger. Who knows what would happen if the artificial sun broke? That's why I can't go home just yet. I need to get to the bottom of this first. Although, I'm scared to venture outside on my own. They say there's countless monsters out there. I don't suppose you would come with me. I could pay you. It's not much, but I do get pocket money from my parents. I'll gladly take your money. You don't need to pay me, much to Esteem's grunt groaning deep inside my soul. I thought you were different from the rest, but now you're treating me like a child too. This is a proper deal, alright? You've got to take my money and make it binding. Really? Okay, fine. If you insist. Then it's settled. I mean, I was just after the Aether Current you gave me, kid. I'll help you out at a later time. Also, I'm reaching near the end, which probably means I'm going to need to do some other side questing just to reach the level, but we'll see. They certainly made lots of use of these bunny boys since they went to the trouble of making them. You're a visitor from Charlian, aren't you? You have a worldly look about you. You're a visitor to Charlian. As a gleaner, I too have journeyed far and wide. Tell me, where is the farthest you have ventured? The Far East, another world I cannot say. Another world. I guess that's the best I can come up with to tell him. Is that meant to be a jest? The look on your face tells me you're serious. Ah, you should do nicely. You see, I need a more experienced traveler to say a prayer for me before I leave for Gear Albania. If you would do me the honor, the reactor operator by the tower to the south should have a lantern crystal prepared for the purpose. Yeah, one or the other. I mean, either way, it's just probably if I need to work on getting a level, I'll probably take a break at that point, get that level, and come back. So whichever way I want to get the level will be fine. Let's see the. Where is this elemental reactor? Okay, it's there. I still have all those side quests back in Elpis to do. I didn't touch a single one of them outside of the Aether Current ones. There's like a billion out there. Are you here for the crystal? I hope it does some good for that gleaner. Those folks need all the luck they can get. Lanterns light the way through the darkness, a tool which can mean the difference between life and death. They are synonymous with safe passage, and as such, it has become a custom in recent days to imbue the crystals inside with the prayers of a more seasoned traveler. And today, that traveler will be you. Simply face the crystal and pray for the safety of the traveler-to-be, if you will. A colleague recently told me about the power of Akusa, a concept taught in Razatan, and how it reacts with strong emotion. I wonder if this method of praying to a crystal is a manifestation of that power. Well, that should about do it. With luck, your prayers will help guide the gleaner to safety through the perils of his journey. That is actually an interesting theory. Do you have a lantern crystal for me? You have my thanks. With your prayer fueling its light, I have faith that it will keep me safe until my return. And now I depart for Gear Albania. I hope your travels are successful as well as mine. Yay! That is all but the last Aether Current, and then I can fly all around Labyrinthos. Whee!
go farther. I did thoroughly brief Kokol on the refined Adamantite's history. I only volunteered to go to the reactor because I was finished and there was little else to do. Hopefully that dispels any misapprehensions that I was kicked out for prattling on. Phew, I can feel his flames ablazing from here. Glad you found someone capable, Graha, but there is not much left for you lot to do. Unless you can conjure up that refined Adamantite any faster. There's the last ether current. Do I trust you to deliver on your I do trust you to deliver on your promise. I do, only... I hate waiting! I want that Adamantite and I want it now! Share your impatience, I assure you. Is there truly nothing else we can assist with in the meantime? I wish. This sitting about's unbearable. Pity the forum frowns on recreational explosions. Well, so long as they can't prove it wasn't premeditated. Get you gone, I have mistakes to make. In that case, I suppose we should go and return the key to the reactor. I'll have one more look to make sure nothing has gone wrong, unintentionally or otherwise. I'm certain there are better uses for your time, however. I will join you in the Charlian Hamlet anon. Now all the way back to the hamlet, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Alrighty, I'm guessing that's the place where I need to wait. Or maybe not. Oh, it's over here. Somewhere. There it is. Alright, here's a crowd. If you wait here, your companions are bound to turn up sooner or later. Yes, let us wait. Ah, it's raining.
All set, I take it?
We finished what we could. Delivered supplies, tracked down escaped animals. Trivial tasks as they may be.
That's enough, don't you think? If there was anything more important still undone, that would be a problem in itself.
The vessel is essentially ready for departure. All that remains is to load the final batch of supplies and see everyone on board. Once we've readied the ether burner, that is.
Ah, had a feeling we might find you all here.
Our consultations with the Loperites, too, have run their course. Pleased I am to say that our researchers' concerns have, for the most part, been allayed. though some insist on making adjustments to the very end. For their part, Livingway and her peers have graciously offered to stay and keep the people company, lest any lingering queries go unanswered.
All that remains is to wait for the refined adamantite.
Alphino, are you there? It's me, Cryo. Your special delivery has arrived. Round up everyone and come to the harbor at once.
Speak of the devil. Let us go at once.
Alrighty, and we'll get to find out what Kryle's special thing is. Okay.
Forgive the intrusion, Master Fortuner. I bring urgent news. A great commotion has broken out in Scholar's Harbor. Your presence is requested, with all speed.
That wasn't ominous at all.
Now, where might this delivery be? Oh.
Oh, well, that's quite a bit. Oh, hey, Madeline. The Prima Vista.
I'm
Wasn't
sure
expecting
it's very
that.
important, but we cannot accept these without the proper permits.
Why the 12? Surely, these can't all be.
Oh, Sky Pirates and Kate Sith.
Bleeding hellfire! They're bringing them by sea and by air. All these folks in these crates.
And this is why non-intervention was a stupid idea.
And more on the way. Got your adamantite right here. A bigger haul than any of these sorry bastards brought, and that's no lie.
Yes, because you were charged with seeing the shipments from Gridania and Uldar here, along with your own. Give credit where credit is due.
Hello, the rivalry between these two that's randomly cropped up.
Sounds like the sorry whinging of a sore loser. And a hypocrite to boot. Ain't no way a scrawny whelp like you took a dozen steps inside a Dalamant shard.
I'll have you know I went all the way to the entrance. Furthermore, 'twas my contacts that enabled us to enlist the cooperation of the Sky Pirates.
Left you outside so you wouldn't get anyone killed, did they? Well then, credit where credit's due. You did a right fine job sitting on your ass.
I mean, he doesn't have Honor Watch to jab at him, so we're using this guy instead.
I will not stoop to your level.
Madeline needs someone like that in his life.
My, what a grand welcome party.
Soroban, aren't you busy being
And
Genbu?
Soroban. We come bearing relics both sacred and Allegan, as well as a few other gifts that may be of help, to be presented with best wishes from the Eastern Alliance.
I myself have come with a sacred relic of Rayson Temple. 'Twas passing fortunate that Senri's dango craving brought us to Kugane. We arrived precisely as Hancock was making his arrangements.
Cat eats dango. That's funny.
Upon learning of your need, we made haste back to Hell's Lid, with our dango, never fear, and consulted with the other auspices. All consented to the lending of Tenzin's legendary Phoenix Blade for this noble cause.
Oh, that's nice.
Suzaku and Seiryu were nevertheless worried that it might be lost in transit, however, and insisted upon accompanying me to Onokoro, where I had intended to entrust it to our Confederate allies. I thought instead to give it over to Hancock when we chanced to cross paths yet again. But alas, Seiryu remained ill at ease, and ordered me see the blade into your hands personally, or die.
I wonder how this would have been different if we hadn't finished that.
We did, of course,
line.
need quite the impressive vessel to get it all here in time. Fortunately, our majestic associates have been more than helpful. 'Tis an honor to join the Warrior of Light on another adventure, they tell me.
It is nice that they do all these adjustments if you did, like, all these things. So sweet.
It's all wonderful to hear, but what of the extraordinary cost? I shudder to think of the ransom we must pay for such a bounty.
Fret not for your coin purse, young Alphino. Lord Lolorito looks ever towards the profits of the future, and thus the East Aldenard Trading Company went to some lengths to reduce the financial liability. And since the Scions funded the entire venture, not a gill need be rendered up in compensation. Everything is already yours.
We funded the venture? When?
Probably Tataru did something. There she is!
Don't let the name fool you. This coin keeper knows a thing or two about spending. When it comes to capital investiture, a sprinkling of gil here and there will not do. You need enough savings to make waves when it really counts, which is why frugality is paramount. We also have the benefit of a generous patron. Generous being rather an understatement. She has supported us from the shadows since the very founding of the Scions. We even had coffers to fill.
Yes. Portiono's like shocked.
I remain, of course, an entirely neutral party. I simply thought our family's coffers were needlessly full. We can hardly take them with us on your teeny-tiny toy boat, now can we? And would be a shame to leave all that hard-earned wealth unspent. Waste not.
Poor Snow face palms.
However did you manage so much in so short a time now? We expected word to reach only a fraction of our allies.
Did I not tell you I have my ways?
Hey! She's friends with our bunny boy.
You were involved too.
I received a letter from Cryo after we parted ways in Labyrinthos. She explained what the Scions were trying to accomplish, and why you might soon require the services of the Gleaners, spread across the world as we are. I pray you do not interpret this as a betrayal of Charlotte. I accept that the Forum's aim in pushing us to our limits was to preserve what knowledge we have, and I bear you no ill will for it. Yet, in collecting that knowledge, what I came to appreciate most about our star is that there remains so much we do not know. That is why I chose to help the Scions, to combat the obliteration of those countless, undiscovered wonders. I held no illusions that they would be less demanding taskmasters. Though, rest assured, if I had, I would have been sorely disappointed. To make a long story short, the whole of the guild ship cooperated to ensure your call was heard far and wide.
Sid! Also, Nero. Also,
What's this
Corian
about a
Continent!
ship that can fly to the moon?
Ah, I'm glad
And why
Sid
didn't you
finally
mention it
got here.
sooner? The one time you don't beg my aid, your problem's a bloody ship that can fly to the moon.
See? I told you we should have called on Sid.
Sid! You brought the team.
Of course. Garland Ironworks' finest. You need only point us towards my new
Also,
favorite
Alpha! Wait, Alpha's here too with his little Omega.
Oh, I nearly forgot. We stopped by Whirlwind before coming here and picked up a package from Gaius.
Oh? What did Gaius have
He's
to
still
send
of the
me?
mind that actions make for better penance than words, contrite or otherwise, so we offer none of the latter. What he sent is an Allegan relic Valens used in his weapons experiments. Has a fair bit of refined adamantite in it too.
Well, it's a good thing we managed to get weapons done.
As you like us not suspect, we've also brought adamantite for Mordona's Dalamud shard.
Hori has a voice.
I
That's
admit
still
to
surprising.
some consternation upon first receiving Quoll's message. So few scions remain at the Rising Stones now. Far too few for such an expedition. However, the Gleaners were able to secure us reinforcements. Idleshire's treasure hunters, not least
Oh, hey,
among
he also says Idleshire.
I know. How the gobbyflop fought. Slowfix's gratitude for the safe return of his daughter has not waned.
Aww.
And he gathered his kin to our side with an astounding quickness.
All the references to everything we've done.
The clash between their machina and the Allegan defences was a sight to behold. I wager even you would have been impressed by the magnitude of the gobby booms.
Fascinating as all this is, I fail to see how it explains your presence here. Does Razat Han not have more pressing concerns?
We do. Yet averting the final days would be the most expedient solution. That, and I am indebted to you.
Indeed. And again, it's made doing all those raids
Though
and
they
stuff
chose
worth it.
to take their leave of Thavnair, those you saved in Galimund remain my people. My gratitude is beyond words. 'Tis appropriate that I aid you in kind. If in the doing we bring salvation to others of this star, so much the better. You will recall that I spoke of my father, Midgard Summer, and his journey across the great expanse. As he traveled betwixt the stars, his resplendent scales drank of the ether in those nigh empty surrounds, and imparted to him the strength to persevere. Thinking they might further your cause, I called out to my kin for consent. Ajdaya's answer was silence, as ever. Tiamat and Hrisvelgre, however, responded favorably to the suggestion.
We never have met that one
too,
dragon.
Stirred from his slumber long enough to speak and say, "Very well." Thus have I brought you his own worm scales. Fit them to your purpose, and seek a worthier fate for us all.
You'd be hard-pressed to find someone else so familiar with the unique properties of dragon scales. So I invited myself along.
How different this scene would have turned out.
So unbelievable, I've gone right back round to believing it again. Forget a 6% gain in efficiency. With all these goodies, we could get 7, no? 10, no? 14 bleeding percent. Think of how far we could go! What we could do with that much power!
What we could blow up!
If Kokol is duly convinced, then it must be true. In which case, the Scion's end of the bargain has been fulfilled. Would you not agree?
Yes, Father?
I know not what you seek of Hydaelyn, nor for what purpose you would take command of our ship. Yet this much is certain. To do so will be to dictate the fate of this star and the lives upon it. The lives of each and every creature, in their magnitude and their fragility. Do you understand? And are you prepared?
We have seen and we have felt how much each life shapes this world. And so we are determined to abandon none. We understand what is at stake, and we are prepared to bear this burden.
Then I will bear it with you. I beg you, share your struggles with me. As family. You grasped my fingers with such tiny hands the day you were born. I thought my heart might burst. 'Twas love and happiness beyond expression. Overwhelming, and a conviction so powerful that I trembled with something close to rage. I had heard the final days foretold. I swore to myself then and there that I would not let them steal your futures. The great Exodus would succeed, must succeed. No sacrifice or sin was worse than the alternative. If anything gave me pause, 'twas mine own father. The Archon Louisoix openly decried Charlian's policies, a perspective which I regarded with increasing disdain as I grew older. Yet even as part of me thought him a fool, perhaps I also hoped that he, of all people, would devise a brilliant means to save my children. A naive hope, but stubborn enough that I could never bring myself to keep you apart. No, that was his doing, when he perished at Cartano. As we pulled that twisted slab of Dalamud from the sea, I remembered the warmth of your newborn touch. Chastened, I vowed never again to suffer any interference in my mission to protect you. No matter that you yourselves wished otherwise. Detest me, fight me tooth and nail, I would suffer it, and more, and be satisfied so long as I could force you onto the ship. I was wrong. You two have grown so much stronger, and so much wiser, than I dared dream. You have earned the right to walk your own path, and already begun to do so.
Good. Because there are things we care about, and people we love. And none of them is replaceable. Not a one.
It cannot have been an easy journey for you to have come so far.
We shall be glad to acquaint you with the finer details someday, once this danger has passed. All that we have seen and heard, that we have felt and learned in our travels. Ours is not a kind world, but it is beautiful. Always.
Oh no. Are you quite sure that's wise? After all, someone turns pale and flees the room when he sees so much as an envelope containing word of your adventures. Whatever will happen if he learns what you were really up to?
Millions.
Oh, goodness. Shallan finally understands Fortuno.
Though I have wronged my children most gravely, I owe you an apology as well. I assumed that it was the Scion's influence that made them so keen to charge headlong into danger. Yours, in particular. I see now that said influence instead brought them together with the many fine people gathered here today. In which case, I hope you continue to guide them.
If we've finished loitering about the harbor, might I suggest we put our plans into motion? People are beginning to look confused.
Perhaps you can spare a few words ere they resume the tedious lugging of cargo. You've no small number of friends and admirers here, after all.
Oh goodness, I am the most popular person in the world. Lend us your strength.
Your assistance is appreciated. Now, in an orderly fashion, if you please.
Shallan now understands Fortuno a lot more because she felt those exact same sentiments regarding Shalana when she learned that the end was nigh, when she saw everything that happened at Thavnir. She was determined to get him to safety as fast as she could, even if she had to take him to the moon herself and put him there. So she understands extremely well his sentiments. She probably understands him more than anyone else here. The time has come to claim our prize. Are you prepared? Laced in a letter along with Gridania's contribution, it seems she traveled there to aid their Adamantite recovery. Evidently, journeying to Gridania was quite the trial, as was getting into the Dalaman Shard, as was searching its depths. I suspect she will have few kind words to say about the Alicans when next we meet. Oh, that I get. Oh, hi! How you doing, Xena? Unaided, we Scions could never have gathered such a bounty. Refined Adamantite, relics sacred and ancient alike. I find myself quite overcome. If I never see another crate again, it will be too soon. Aw, thanks for the hug, Xena. I cannot wait to see what our friends from the Ironworks do with the ship. My throat hurts from directing so many people to Labyrinthos, but that only proves that we got our money's worth. I apologize for not informing you earlier of Aaronville's involvement. He was something of a contingency plan. Thank goodness we had him and his fellow gleaners on hand, though. It would have been monstrously difficult to locate Sid and transport the Hanish delegation here otherwise. I had no idea how massive a weight it is until he lifted it off my shoulders. But more importantly, his words were an affirmation that the path we walk is the right one. A part of me has been satisfied so long as my family and friends survive the final days, but to save the star is what we all want most. If those same people believe that I can help see it done, who am I to say otherwise? Come what may, I will fight for this world of ours until the very end. We finally managed to clear the harbor, which means the rest is in the engineer's capable hands. Meanwhile, Father has issued us an invitation. As was agreed, he will reveal the means by which Hydaelyn may be contacted. We are to meet him in Aporia when we are ready. Given the vital knowledge she holds, I suggest we leave without delay. It transpires, however, that the Forum's method of speaking with her is not without risks. I'm curious to hear what those might entail, but regardless, be warned. Most of those who arrived with the Adamantite have offered to stay and see any remaining tasks that need doing. The Forum has already asked my assistance in overseeing the process, so you needn't worry about a thing. Thank you, Tataru. We're off to Aporia, then. I don't want any of you getting hurt, but I do hope you'll bring as much information out of Hydaelyn as you can. For all we know, this is the one and only opportunity we'll get. Alrighty. It was nice to see you. You who have finished Endwalker before me. You still up? Okay. You have fun. Alright, I'm gonna go continue this quest line. Aporia is down below. Let's see. Down to... not Elpis. We're not going to Elpis. Labyrinthos. Aporia. And they're still playing this jam. Shellen, I have already shown the others inside. You will want to speak with Claraline. She has the key to the lift and can send you down after me. Lols. Nope, I had no idea how long it took you to find me. I was just enjoying myself, having a grand old time. You're with Master Fortuno, yes? Then just step inside here. Even lower! This is the middle area, of which I've discovered nothing. From here we proceed to the heart of Labyrinthos and its most closely guarded secret, Thaumazen. It marks the beginning and end of our efforts, whence we delve to seek an audience with the star, and whence we will embark on our journey to the heavens. This way, if you please. While I was up there, I should have popped my gear coffers. Oh well. I'll do that again sooner or later, at some point. I mapped all of Labyrinthos before I even got the power of flight. That's a rare occurrence. I'm just glad the Mandervilles didn't actually show up in that. Although, they probably could have if I had actually finished the Hildebrand questline. I wouldn't actually be surprised if Hildebrand showed up. That's one of the questlines I never managed to finish. I bid you welcome to Thaumazen. Direct your attention toward its center to behold the ark over which we have long labored. They don't... Okay. As you can see, 'twas designed as a medium-sized craft to better reduce the fuel consumption. Miniaturizing magics have been applied to its interior to ensure the thrust-to-weight ratio does not place too great a limitation on its freight capacity. The Aether Burner, as you know, has been removed for further modification, but we shall reattach it soon enough. I have received word from Kokol that, and several of your allies, are working on it with intense fervor. They are sure to see it done. 'Twas by their expertise that many a prior disaster was averted. If anything, I fear they will not afford us much time for speaking with Heidelin ere they finish. Point taken, let us move on. I must warn you again, however, that even with the benefit of our device, to treat with her is not a simple feat. You feel it too, don't you? The ship is impressive, but it pales in comparison to the vast primordial power beneath our feet. 'Twould seem enchantments most advanced have been woven into the ship's very bones. Wolfsoon and Blowida were doubtless called upon for their expertise in teleportation magics. He's not even Urianjaying that much and I'm stumbling over his words. Man. Does Blowida mean Bloodwife? Maybe. It was the Elegants who first combined the mechanical and ethereal sciences into a revolutionary discipline. Given that this ship is nothing short of a technological marvel in that precise vein, the Elegant salvage should suit it well. I doubt not that this is what Ehrenfeld meant when he said there remains much we do not know, but I still cannot believe everything that was hidden underneath the city the entire time. We must learn of Heidelin's greater plan. We can only hope that she also knows the current location of Medion. And we can do neither if we do not focus on whatever trial awaits us within. To think how many generations labored for this end, and that we aim higher still. We must spare no preparation, and that means speaking with Heidelin, no matter the cost. If meeting Heidelin proves difficult even for the Forum, then perhaps Oh, 'tis an unformed idea at this phase, I'm afraid. I will duly inform you if anything comes of it. Don't do anything like get yourself killed, Kryl, please. I can well imagine the zeal with which they are working on the ether burner, and all I can say is I'm glad that we have something to do other than get in their way. Once it's ready, we'll see to it that the ship gets put to good use. I have done what I can to impress upon you the gravity of what lies ahead. Are you prepared? Yep. And now I need to go side quest to get that level. Whee! Huzzah. Alright, well, since I need to go side quest, I guess this makes a wonderful place to stop. So, I will take a quick break, do the side quest, and be back in an hour, maybe a little more. Probably. We'll see. I'll be back when I'm back. At any rate, thank you all so much for watching. Never cease to be amazing, and bye for now.